What's up, everybody? I got a quick video for you today, but it's still an important one. So what we're going to be talking about is why I think there should be a third party in American politics. And of course, in order to discuss that, we have to talk about why there isn't a third party in American politics. But I'm sure you have an idea as to why that's the case. So moving forward, what I just quickly want to say is I really feel like people have actually thought about voting for a third party candidate. And even if it's not a large amount of people that have actually thought about pulling the trigger for someone that isn't a Democrat, nor are they a Republican, I still feel like people have thought about saying, well, why do I only get to hear two choices on the debate stage, right? All we're stuck with is Democrats and Republicans. I got all these different examples I can just run through quickly. I got an iPhone right here. I'm on a GoPro. You can see I'm sitting on my living room couch right here. When it comes to Americans, and not even just Americans, I mean, in many other countries it's the case too, but when it comes to us shopping for products, we have all these different choices that we can choose from. I showed you the iPhone just before. I mean, I know you can have a Samsung Galaxy, and there's probably a ton of other phones that you can have if you want the option to do so. I said I'm on a GoPro, but there's so many different cameras that you can record on, you can take pictures on, etc., etc. Couches, it's the same thing. So when it comes to us shopping for products, we have a ton of options. We're never just limited to two when it comes to brands. But when it comes to politics, we're just stuck with Democrats or Republicans. And they really make it seem like they're the only two choices in town because we're always told, well, if we vote for a third party, it's a throwaway vote. You're just giving a vote to the other candidate because you're gonna take away votes from one party where, say, the third party candidate that you vote for, maybe they align with a Democrat or align with a Republican. So you're just gonna take votes away from them and you're gonna make the evil side win. That's really what we're told. So the Democrats and Republicans really do have a stranglehold on the whole situation. It's the whole reason why you never even get a third party candidate on the debate stage. So in case you didn't know, you have to qualify. I think it's either 4 or 5 national polls, but they never specify which ones. So it's always like last minute, oh yeah, this one counts. The NBC one's good, but oh, the Fox News one is no good. It's just an example. I'm not saying that's the truth. But you have to poll, I believe, above 15% in 5 polls, I believe, unless they're constantly changing the rules, which they might be. But they make it pretty impossible for a third party to even just set foot on the first debate stage. And it's a shame because I really do feel like the American people deserve to have more options out there. And we're kind of getting into why I think there should be more choices for us to at least hear from. But what I just quickly want to say is just think about this. The last time there was a third party candidate that actually made some noise, not only on the debate stage, but in terms of on the national level, I believe his name was Ross Perot, and he ran twice. He ran in 92 and then 96. I think it was in 92 he ran independent, and then in 96 I believe it was another third party. I don't think it was libertarian, but I think it was, there's a bunch of other parties out there. But the point being, in 1992, he got about 19% of the popular vote. And I don't think he scored any, or maybe a very few amount of electoral votes, but he wound up getting votes in every single state. So it was pretty incredible. I mean, I wasn't even alive at the time, but just looking back on it, I mean, the 2016 was really a big one where a third party really could shine through because obviously Donald Trump was an outsider, but he ran as a Republican. But both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton in 2016, they were not popular candidates because neither of them were polling above 50% leading up to the election. So there was Gary Johnson of the Libertarian Party, and he completely just screwed himself because he wound up just being kind of just silly, making some gaffes here and there, and it just didn't work out, which is still incredible. Even with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, somehow he didn't do better than he did. But he was polling, I believe, at like 8 or 9% in certain polls leading up to the debates, but so he never got on. And nationally, I think maybe he only squeaked out maybe like 2 or 3%, something like that. So just giving you the idea about how Democrats and Republicans have a stranglehold on the whole political system, and it's very, very hard for a third party or just someone like a political outsider to really gain some ground. The last really big one was Ross Perot in 1992, and I believe he was a multimillionaire, if not even a billionaire, so he was able to self-fund, which is incredible, but it goes to show you how it's pretty much impossible for somebody on the outside to infiltrate the system. So moving on, I said it was going to be a quick video. The reason why I think it's important for the American people to have a choice, you know, at least to hear a third party or just somebody else, somebody that's not a Democrat or a Republican on the debate stage, is so people get the opportunity to, one, hear more choices, but two, that way, that third party, they might have some really different ideas that you're not going to get with a Democrat or a Republican. I would argue that the biggest third party is probably the Libertarian Party. I mean, it could change daily, but I really do think that when it comes to true libertarians, it's people that are split amongst left on some issues and on the right on other issues. Like a libertarian might be big on the Second Amendment, but they also might be big on personal choices and freedom. So you will find a lot of the libertarians that are big on constitutional matters, but then they say somebody should be able to blaze up and smoke pot in their house. Like, I don't care. And that's two separate issues. That's, you know, like when it comes to the Second Amendment, that's a right-wing stance. And when it comes to smoking pot, typically that's a left-wing stance. So that's why I think it's important for a third party to come in, at least onto the debate stage. Because if someone really is kind of like a middle of the road and you get almost the best of both worlds, depending on what positions you believe in, of course. But if you get someone that's kind of the middle of the road, they give you the best of both sides, I really think that it's something that people would be eager to give a shot. Because the one thing you got to ask yourself is, what do we have to lose? I mean, in all seriousness, we've been voting for Democrats and Republicans for, what, 200 years? Something like that? And how's it really worked out for us leading up to this point? I mean, we really are starting to struggle a bit. You got all this crazy stuff going on in the news, and it doesn't mean that all Democrats and Republicans are bad people, but it just means, hey, what do we have to lose if we vote for a political outsider? I know we just got through with Donald Trump's presidency. Yes, he ran as a Republican, but he was really not a Republican. I mean, he was an outsider. He was never even a politician. So what do we have to lose? I mean, hey, even after Trump, we're still here. If you're someone who didn't like Trump, we're still here. We're still trotting along. I know we're struggling right now. We're coming off a pretty crazy economic shutdown, and you know, you got inflation coming in, gas prices are rising, so things are getting a little crazy right now. But nonetheless, we're still here. So my kind of question to you is, what do we have to lose if we're going to at least give the opportunity to a third party for us to listen to them? Like, well, seriously, what do you have to lose? Democrats and Republicans will tell us, oh no, that's dangerous, we can't listen to them. But that just kind of comes down to them not wanting to allow somebody else into the game. They want to keep it all to themselves. So wanted to give you a quick little video. It's something I've always thought about, and you know, hey, I'm giving it to you from my living room. I'm pretty comfortable hanging out here, giving you my thoughts, and hopefully you stuck through the whole video. So if you're still here, comment down below. Let me know what you think about a third party at least being allowed on the debate stage. Obviously, you can talk about whether or not they would actually win a presidential election, but just for the opportunity for the American people to hear a third choice when it comes to national presidential debates, I really do think that it would provide us a lot more good than harm. And I want to know your thoughts. So again, comment down below. So I appreciate you checking out the video.